Today I'm going to turn this piece of ash burr that was cut off the side of a tree a long time ago with a hole in the middle pre-drilled by somebody a long time ago for a screw chuck. When I tried to stick it on the screw chuck to start with, it was all wobbling, and I realised that the centre of the wood had actually got a whole lot of rot in it. So I thought, well, can I try and put some plumber's PTFE tape around it, and will that tighten it up? Nope, that didn't work. So continuing to persevere, I thought, like a raw plug, I'll stick a bit of wood down the hole and try and pack it out with that. Would that work? No, that didn't work either. So I tried sticking a bit more in, and then I realised the hole actually goes in about 2 inches. So that's the reason. It was rotten in the centre, so I needed to think again. So I was going to use a straight drive in the headstock, but I found that the light pull drive, which has got the steps on it, worked really well. And I also realised that the bottom was cut off at a right old angle. So doing it this way meant I could centre the piece up and dress it much better. Felt like a day to play with the carbides, so I've used the pointy carbide to try and get rid of some of the nasty shape. And as you can see, it's quite effective. You've got to be a bit careful, but it's probably safer than sticking a bowl gouge in with such a nasty, rough cut edge. So I thought I might as well continue to play with the carbides as it's a bit gnarly, and shape the outside and prepared a tenon ready to swap it over. A nicely prepared tenon so that it fit well on the record power chuck, and then time to basically hog out the rest of it and get rid of the mess at the top with a bowl gouge. Fairly quickly discovered that there was a nasty hole in the middle, as I thought there was, so I had to go carefully, and I've still got lumps of bark off the outside flying off. Not quite sure what this is going to look like, frankly, but I can get a decent bowl gouge on it now, and I think I'll stay with the shape of the lump of wood. Otherwise there'll be nothing left if I keep on going at it. I think I'm creating some sort of spittoon shape. I don't know. Anyway, I've decided as I've been doing this that I will ultimately colour it and add it to my collection of items coloured so they look like they've been on the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea for half of its life, corroding and falling apart slowly. Hollowing out the core had to be careful because the hole in the centre was entirely unevenly placed, so I basically stuck to carbides as much as possible. You can see there the state of the inside. So I'm now switching to the Simon Hope, what do they call him? Mini hollower? I don't know. Carbide tip, which has got a slight adjustable bend on it to start to profile the inside and get rid of the rest of that mess. I realised I wasn't going to get this too thin, but I tried to stick to about 5mm all the way around if I could. And as I got to the bottom, I realised that the floor was going to go right the way out the bottom if I wasn't careful, so I decided to leave it in and make it a feature in the finished item. Sanded up and ready to take the stain now. Base layer of chestnut royal blue on, which is the slightly darker toned blue, and then I'm going to put that on all over and just gently braid it back. Good soaking of that, and then let that dry for a few hours, and then use some 320 to just cut it back a bit. And then an overcoat of, again, the chestnut spirit stain, which is this sort of royal blue, turquoise blue type colour, which I do favour. Added that on, and that'll sort of produce a sort of mottled effect. Just put it on with kitchen roll. In some areas I'm soaking it a bit more so that you get a more intense of the lighter blue colour. In other areas just leaving it a bit lighter. But I've let that go off overnight so it's nice and dry. Just denibbed it gently with some 1000 grade. And then in true Stuart Farini style, time to put as much of other stuff on as I fancy. So some Joe Sonia and Dale Arowney, different types of gold paints. I couldn't find a bit of sponge, so I used a bit of old router mat so I could blob that on in different areas and rub it in with gloves and generally sort of have fun splattering it on. I then found some Joe Sonia different metallics in the paint box kit, so I dabbed a few bits of that on. Not too much, quite restrained, just to again create some different textures and finishes on the inside and the outside. And then finish with two, or was it three? Can't remember now. Coats of silk, satin, chestnut lacquer, acrylic lacquer, and then I just burnished it up with a bit of burnishing cream before putting some waxes on. Just a bit of the good old microcrystalline from chestnut, just to give it a bit of a sheen to liven it up. And I left the floor in the bottom visible so that it sort of hopefully complements the idea of this looking like it's a wrecked and distressed vessel that's been on the bottom of the sea for millennia. And then just use a Longworth chuck to turn off the bottom and put some texture into the finished base. Using my preferred small cogwheel texturing tool, and just put a pattern on the bottom, and because there was a little bit of the blue stain showing through where the floor from the inside was almost reaching the outside, I just decided to fill the base with some gilt cream and burnish it up just to make it a bit more fancy. And then, not wasting any of the gilt cream, I rubbed a bit of that over the outside as well to blend in a bit more of the gold colour where it looked like it might benefit from it, and then wiped it back again because I put it on and take it off. That's what I usually do. And then just a few photographs of the finished item. It looks okay. Bit of fun out of a gnarly old piece of wood anyway.